This video will eliminate negative reviews for your Airbnb with a single question. I know because I have a 4.99 over 200 reservations. It's so simple. It's a single question you will sometimes ask to your Airbnb guests, not even every reservation. In fact, about 1 every 10 reservations. I'll get into that. Stick with me until the end. This is one of the most important videos I have ever made. My name is Danny and I used to work at Airbnb. Nowadays, I teach hosts all over the world how to make more money with their Airbnb while working less. The other day, I spoke one-on-one with Faith, and this is what she had to say at the end of our call.
Yeah, this was super valuable. Thank you. I'm in a bunch of Airbnb groups. And so I'll be like, guys, you need to book a call and just get your properties looked at. This was definitely worth the money. So thank you.
I first want to give you a general overview of how Airbnb works, the whole platform. I break it down into 3 parts. The first is your ranking. I call it otherwise your online aspect. Is your online listing optimized to a way where it's going to get you the most amount of guests and have you ranking the highest consistently in Airbnb search? Most of my videos on this channel are about ranking and pricing. And I have a 2-step pricing strategy that helps you fill your calendar all year round. Today, we're going to be talking about reviews, or other words, offline. So online, how to rank high; offline, how to get more reviews and more 5-star reviews. I'm doing a 3-part series right now on different topics, but all of them are on the offline aspect of hospitality, because the vast majority of my other channels, as I mentioned, are on how to rank high, how to increase your conversion of guests making that booking, and how to price your calendar. Now, why did I say you don't even have to ask every guest this question? And it's what I call the 10th review. Let me briefly explain it to you. It says that most reservations go flawlessly. You don't hear from the guest, they leave a 5-star review, or maybe they don't leave a review at all. But about 1 in 10 reservations, there's some kind of a problem. I'm going to do a video, if I haven't already published it, about the 10th review. And I'm going to share a story about a recent reservation where I failed my own 10th review concept, resulting in a bad review. And I'm going to tell you how to avoid that forever, like I mostly have done in all of the properties that I manage or own myself. Now, don't go anywhere, because once you master these concepts, you're going to notice that the Airbnb algorithm is teaching you better. You're going to start getting reservations more than you ever have before, because you're going to be stacking all of my little optimizations together to be way better than your competition. And when you get to that level, slow season is going to look a lot different for you. Slow season looks different for the best hosts. Your calendar is going to be full, so your guests are going to give you 5-star reviews. Okay, so stick with me. Let me finish this 10th review concept. Now, on that 10th review, here's what's going to happen. The guest is going to ask you about something about your house. Something's wrong. They might complain. They might even be aggressive. After you address that complaint as best you can, then you're going to follow it up with a question, and you're always going to follow it up with a question. And on those guests who don't complain, you're still going to follow it up with a question, and they're probably not going to answer because they're having a fine time. The guest is going to give you feedback. Could be negative feedback. The hot water heater doesn't work. You don't have enough amenities in your kitchen. The digital door lock is broken, I think. I don't like this policy of your house rules. Why don't you have AC in every single room? Only the bedroom. That doesn't work for me. Whatever it may be, you're going to address the complaint, and then you're going to say, when it's addressed, is there anything else? Can I help you with anything else? How's the rest of your stay going? Let the guests know that you're here for them so that they can always give you feedback. Does that sound super simple? That's because it is. Most hosts just kind of ignore their guests, or tell them to figure it out on their own, or say the Wi-Fi worked for the past guest, or the water heater worked for the last guest. I've never heard this complaint before. Don't do that. There's a few more tricks I want to share with you that relate to how you can avoid getting a negative review, how you can avoid getting into that tight spot where you know that guest is going to give you a bad review. Some other bonus strategies. The first trick is have a co-host. You don't even have to have a real co-host. Just create an account, okay, or have your friend or family get on there. You want to have a co-host account connected to your Airbnb. so that when something happens, the third person comes in. The manager, the owner comes in and lets the guests know they've been heard. That's not acceptable. That hair on the toilet, that's not acceptable. That pin-size stain on the sheets, that's not acceptable. I'm gonna go over with that with the host and my cleaner tomorrow. I already have a meeting scheduled with them. When you enter that third person in, that co-host, it's as if the manager is coming over to speak with you when you have a complaint at the restaurant. Do you know that that person is almost never the manager? They're just a third person that kind of looks like they could be the manager. You don't know any better. What's the next trick? The next trick is a goodie bag. This is something that I've introduced in my most recent book. I have it right here, Profitable Properties. And it is, instead of a check-in gift, we give a check-out gift. Instead of a welcome gift, I'm giving a goodie bag. And why do I do that? Because that's when the guest is going to leave the review. What if this reservation is like 6 days long, 2 weeks long? By the time they get to the checkout, they've forgotten about that welcome gift. But if you give it to them upon checkout, and I get a lot of questions, what if they leave before the cleaner gets there? How do I answer that? I'll answer that in a moment. But first I want to explain what this is because it's so powerful. You don't even have to give it to every guest. You can only start to give it to guests who have complaints. So if you don't have a cleaner there or anyone or a front desk or anything, put it in a drawer that the guest isn't going to open normally. And then just tell the guest, hey, I left it there. Okay, they're not going to ask you questions. Oh, you left it there? Like, when did you put it there? Like, oh, was it always there? How long is it? They're not going to ask any of that. They're just going to go and see what the free goodies are. But here's the thing, make it important. Make it something that they might buy. You know, if they're visiting a historic city and they want to bring something back to their family, maybe they forgot, give them something that's substantial, something that they're not just going to throw away as soon as they get out your front door, or something that they're not going to take. So that's a great measuring stick. If whatever your goodie bag is, the guests don't actually care to take, it's not a great goodie bag. You can also brand it if your listing is brandable, which most of them aren't. There's 3 reasons why you may want to brand your listing, and that is either you have returnable guests that are going to return, the place is very luxurious, or you have various properties in the same market. Then it starts to make sense. When this video is over, I take this topic and a bunch of other offline strategy topics to a much deeper level in my Profitable Properties program. Okay, before I give away something for free, in this video, we have talked about the feedback loop, which consists of what question you ask your guest when they give you feedback. And I've talked to you how I think of Airbnb, where we start with the online listing, we optimize that. That's the easiest, fully within our control. Then we go to number 2, offline, and that has to do with how do we get better reviews. And then number 3 is pricing, which I teach a 2-step pricing strategy. And you can check out a playlist I have all dedicated to pure pricing videos. And then I've given you 2 additional tricks to help you evade those negative reviews. And that works most of the time, the vast majority of time. Now, if you have a property manager, I want you, the last time you got a bad review, to ask the property manager for the communication related to that review. And what you're going to find, you're probably not going to like, because you're going to find that that review probably could have been totally avoided if they just asked for feedback, if they solved the problem for the guest. You might even find that they just ignored the question or the feedback entirely. As you know, I don't recommend property managers until now. I am going to recommend one property manager who I have vetted, and you can find all of the reasons why I like this particular property manager on the following link. But I will tell you one thing that you're going to like, and they have, for every listing, a negative review and resolutions specialist. So that means when you have a negative review, they have someone who goes in and tries to get it removed. When you have a resolution, which means you need to get some more money from the guest, they have a team that does that. And that team includes prior Airbnb employees. I think they have one prior Airbnb employee and a prior VRBO employee. So they know the system a little bit better than the average host. If you're interested in working with Corsley, scan the QR code or check the link in the description. I want to give away something for free. It's a product that I have just released. It's my interior design tip sheet. I'm going to give it to 5 of you. All of you have to do is comment on this video, subscribe, and like. Keep in mind that For every one of you, I can see, or YouTube tells me if you're subscribed, how many videos you have liked, how many videos you have commented on. You can imagine who I'm going to choose for these and future giveaways, of which I've already done 7. Oh, you missed those? Don't forget to watch my videos all the way through. That's not a punishment, that's a reward. Every video you watch of mine is going to give you a 3% occupancy boost. Once that occupancy gets up to 100%, guess what you're going to get to do? Raise your price. And that's a beautiful circle to get into. Now, these strategies are powerful. Promise me, don't go raising your price too much.